Okay, it's 7 o'clock and we have a public hearing scheduled at 7 for the Canyon Run Extension Drainage District. Sue, would you read the public hearing notice, please?
Whereas a petition dated October 5, 2017, requesting that a groundwater drainage district to serve the proposed 44-lot Canyon Run Conservation Extension subdivision, the subdivision as hereinafter described, be established in the town, has been duly presented to the town board in accordance with New York Town Law, Article 12, and whereas the petition was accompanied by an engineer's report prepared by Environmental Design Partnership, LLP, concerning the proposed drainage district. And whereas the report has been filed in the town clerk's office and is available for public inspection. And whereas the report delineates the boundaries of the proposed drainage district, a general plan of the proposed system, a report of the proposed method of operation, all outlets, and the terminus and course of the proposed drainage system discharge, and is consistent with, so far as possible, any comprehensive plan for sewers developed and maintained pursuant to General Municipal Law, Section 99F. And now, therefore, it is hereby ordered: 1, the boundaries of the proposed drainage district are set forth in the report as follows. Tax map parcels 128-1-86, 128-1-90, 128.5-3-27 through 38, and 128.5-3-98. The proposed improvements consist of construction and installation of 2 independent foundation drainage systems for each home, including an external perimeter drain around each foundation with a connection to the gravity collection system, and an internal drain along the perimeter of each foundation to be connected to a sump pit with the sump discharge to the roadway ditch. The collection system is proposed within the proposed right-of-way and will discharge into an existing stream corridor located to the northwest of the project site along Gaylor Road. A permit for the proposed collection system discharge has been obtained from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation to allow discharge into the state jurisdictional wetland and stream. All costs associated with the construction and installation of the new drainage district facilities, including materials, excavation, labor costs, will be paid by the subdivision developer. The estimated annual cost of the district to the typical property in the district, which typical property is a 3 or 4 bedroom single-family home for operation and maintenance and other charges, would be approximately $41 for each of the 44 homes upon full build-out. There would be a per-lot initial payment of $100 to be contributed to the town for the placement in the town's dedicated account. The cost to construct the drainage system for each new structure would be included in the total cost of each home. The developer of the subdivision will pay all costs of the improvements, so there will be no financing required by the town in connection with the district. A detailed explanation of how the estimated costs of the district were computed is included in the report, which has been filed with the town clerk and is available for public inspection. The town board shall meet and hold a public hearing at the Wilton Town Hall, 22 Traver Road, Wilton, New York, at 7 p.m. on Thursday, January 4th, 2018, to consider the report and to hear all persons interested in the proposed drainage district, and to take such other and further action as may be required or authorized by law. The town board hereby authorizes and directs the town clerk to duly publish and post this order not less than 10 days nor more than 20 days before the public hearing date, and to file a certified copy of this order with the state comptroller on or about the date of publication as required by Town Law 193.
Okay, thank you, Sue. Before I open up the public hearing for comment, I'd like to ask Joe Danabel from EDP just to briefly go over exactly what the district is about and how it works and that type of stuff. So.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping the meeting tonight. We got some snowy roads and we got a lot of public that showed up. This is great. I'm Joe Danable. I'm with the Environmental Design Partnership, representing T&G Associates in their application and pending the development or the creation of a annexation district specific for the drainage associated with this subdivision. As stated in the public record, the subdivision itself has been in front of the planning board several times over the past couple of years, and the subdivision itself, the infrastructure associated with it, and the infrastructure associated with this drainage district have received approvals from the planning board to move forward. One of the last items we need to do with the town is to petition the town for the creation of the taxation district, which would be the funding source for the improvements that are proposed. The purpose of this taxation district is so that no cost associated with this system at its initial installation or in the future for maintenance, replacement of the pipes and structures is ever borne by the town, other than by the residents that are directly impacted, positively impacted by this infrastructure. Just to orient everybody, make sure we understand what we're looking at on this map. North is to the left-hand side. The parcel itself, which is made up of several different tax parcels, is highlighted in yellow. It runs immediately to the west of Northway, and Gaylor Road is located to the north side of that property. Again, this is just an overall view of the conservation subdivision that has received several levels of approval, both from the town and New York State DOC, DEC, and the Army Corps of Engineers, both for discharge of this underdrain system into a regulated wetland and DEC stream corridor, as well as some minor wetland impacts on the property itself. This is a slide that represents the actual drainage system that will be proposed on every individual lot. Each house will be built with a double underdrain system. One will be an exterior underdrain wrapped around the exterior of the foundation, 3 feet below the finished floor elevation of that slab. That system will be privately owned and connected to a municipally owned system within the road. And that is the system we were talking about, the drainage system itself. That drainage system then collects discharge from all of this groundwater and is discharged off-site to a stream bank that, as we have learned, and we did a hydrogeologic study for flow, that all of this water already goes to that stream corridor in its existing state. Also, a redundant system that occurs within the interior of the foundation. There will be a secondary underdrain 3 feet below the slab that will discharge to a sump pump within the basement. That sump pump will be privately owned and discharged to the roadside ditches that exist within the development itself. Here's an overview map of the drainage area itself. This was the result of a lengthy study completed by some hydrogeologists that have done extensive work within the town over the past 10 to 15 years. 2 lines indicated on this map. Within the center of the development, located in this area, it shows that we have a influence to drop the groundwater anywhere from 3 to 5 feet below its existing surface. And as you radiate out from that, we have a second cone that shows that groundwater will be influenced by a drop of 1 to 2 feet. We further evaluated that, and one of the most important findings of this study is that there are no private wells within the cone of influence of this area, so there will be no negative impact to any of the wells. The parcels here located in the darkest gray along Traver Road are the lots that have wells, and they are well outside of the cone of influence of this drainage system. Again, these are just some additional drainage maps to show all the work that was put into the creation of this drainage system. And again, tonight we're here talking about specifically the formation of this taxation district. All of the engineering and everything that goes along with this has been reviewed and received approval from the town, the DEC, and the Army Corps of Engineers. And I'd be happy to answer any additional questions you may have. Thank you.
John?
Inspections of the project, who's responsible for them?
The inspections of the projects, great question, I meant to cover that. The installation of this system will be installed by the developer and will be under the quality control of a licensed engineer who will certify to the town that the installation of this system was installed as per the design documents.
Outside of the developer. It's
Outside
gonna be
developer.
somebody other than the
Outside
developer is going to be inspecting it.
Correct, it'll be a licensed engineer.
And again, it's no financial responsibility to any taxpayer other than the taxpayers that buy homes in that district.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to open it up for public comment. There is a three-minute time limit on public comment. The town clerk will notify you when your time is up. I'd ask each person to come up to the microphone, identify yourself and your address, and the town clerk will let you know when your 3 minutes is up. First person signed up is Cletus Simonetti.
I'm sorry, I thought it's to be here for the meeting.
Oh,
I didn't mean to.
okay. Is that the same for Eric, too?
Yeah.
Okay, Nancy Dwyer.
No, it's not the same for Eric.
Pardon?
Different Eric.
Oh, Eric who?
No, that was the gentleman.
Yeah.
You're third on the list, Nancy, to sign up.
Yeah, but weren't you ahead of me, Eric?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
No, he's after you.
I have your back.
Okay. You know what, can I go after Wendy? Is that all right? She's next.
I don't care. We
It
have
kind of follows more after hers.
Eric who was next, and then Wendy.
Let Wendy go first.
All
Want
right.
to put numbers on there?
All right.
Okay, so I'm Wendy Mahoney from 74 Damascus Drive. First, I want to thank the folks here at Town Hall that I met with, Ryan and Jeff and Mike, over the last couple weeks. A lot of the concerns I had, you guys addressed and are no longer concerns for me. But I do still have a couple concerns, a couple things that I don't really like about this project. The first is draining wet areas. So to give you a little background about me and hopefully lend a little bit of credibility to my statement, I have a PhD in environmental studies, particularly how human activities impact the natural environment. And so I read through the documents related to this project with a lot of interest, both personally and professionally, and really, both on a personal level and a professional level, I don't like draining these wet areas. I find that problematic. They are extremely important in terms of the habitat they provide, and they're also, these headwater systems are super important to water quality, to maintaining and enhancing water quality. And so when we develop these things, the more and more that we develop them, the less and less of these headwater systems we have, and I think that's a problem. I recognize that our zoning laws, as currently written, they don't make any protection for these types of areas. So I know that that's not really anything that you guys can address tonight. However, if there's ever an opportunity for the public to be involved in reforming any of the zoning laws, I would love to participate in that. My second concern is something that you guys can actually address here tonight, and that's establishing Canyon Run as a groundwater district creates a precedent. And I realize that Wilson Farms, in theory, is the first groundwater district that Wilton has. That was sort of a special case that they had already begun the work before they realized the groundwater issue. And so the system was put in response to that. I think allowing Canyon Run to be a groundwater district sets a precedent that makes it hard to tell other developers that they cannot also have a groundwater district when they develop their properties. I can envision us having a patchwork of these systems throughout the town. If you just look at the Saratoga County, their online GIS information, you identify the wetland, the DEC wetland areas, put a 500-foot buffer around it to say, this is probably a relatively wet space. You can see a whole lot, and you guys are more than welcome to have a copy of the map. You can see that there's a lot of areas within Wilton that could be things where somebody needs a groundwater district, not just in the R1 zoning, but in some of the other areas as well. And so I feel like if we start opening the door now, how do you justify not accepting the next and the next? So to summarize, I think it sets a bad precedent. It opens the town up to having lots of these. We don't have to approve this district. It's not one of those you check off the boxes like the zoning requirements, and so the town doesn't benefit from it. They don't have to accept it, and so I hope you guys will be proactive and not do this. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you want Eric to go now, or?
Yes, he's going. They actually signed up first, they just signed up on the wrong paper.
Nancy Dwyer, 12 New Kent Road. Wendy, myself, and Jen met with Mike Dovis, who's the chair of the planning board. We met with Jeff Reel, our controller. We met with Ryan Riper, who's our town engineer. And as Wendy indicated, a lot of our concerns were addressed through education and finding out what's a real concern and what's not a real concern. So we come here somewhat informed, and during our discussions in looking at the documents and what costs are included, what's not included are the costs, the soft costs, the administration costs, after this is all done and handed over to the town to administer, to ensure for liability, to potentially defend, and to do inspections on regular intervals. Olson Farm Drainage District is not old enough at this point in time to be really indicative of any presenting issues that a drainage district like this, in the write-up, can talk about filling with sediment, collapsed pipes, that in time, usually 5 and 10-year average intervals, those types of things have been allotted for, and that's what goes into the $41 per property, but it does not address soft costs of administering this. The town owns it. Once it's handed over to us, we own it, it's our responsibility, and even though we have the right to assess more tax to this district, as well as reduce their tax if the cost is covered and more than covered in dollars held. We are not, and it is somewhat cumbersome, what we're told, it's somewhat cumbersome to actually bill for the town's time. If the highway department has to go out and do work on repairs, that would be a big cost. That's a little bit easier to actually bill for. But the town will actually have to create a bill to submit to the district to get reimbursed. So even small amounts of time become more cumbersome to bill for. But nonetheless, there's people spending time inspecting, which also lends itself to an issue that it now has to go on the roster. Either the highway department to be inspecting these things and or the building department. I'm not sure whose purvey it even falls under, that these need to be inspected on a regular basis. That's time and effort to us. It's not these costs. So if it's approved, somewhere in there, those costs need to be accounted for. It's not, as Wendy indicated, it's not a standard for a subdivision, a standard piece. It's above and beyond the normal and standard additional burdens a subdivision places on our town resources. So, something to consider.
Thank you.
I guess it's your turn, Eric.
Yes, so. Eric Rosenberg, 16 Crawl Lane. I've looked into this a little bit and had some conversations with other people. My background, some of you know from my campaigning, but the majority of my professional career was spent in real estate, whether it was in real estate law, I had a contractor's license, I worked for developers, and so on and so forth, and certainly worked lived my life in South Florida where the issue of water and drainage was a huge issue. And so one of the, sometimes in my legal practice, the simplest legal advice turns out to be the best legal advice. And one of those things is don't let somebody make their problem your problem. I understand there's an issue with elevation, and that's the developer's problem. I understand that there are also other alternatives other than creating even this drainage system. They could fill the land and so on and so forth. Even the drainage system itself, the drainage district itself, you can form homeowners associations. Let it be the problem of the people who have the problem. The other thing is with these sorts of things is they never go quite as planned, especially in the early stages. You can anticipate whatever you think the issues and challenges are going to be. Chances are they're going to be a lot greater. And when there are problems, the only people that these homeowners are going to be able to turn to are the town. So, in addition to these soft costs, there are going to be all these other costs of time and issue. And effectively, because the city is going to be, the town is going to be absorbing these costs, it effectively ends up being a subsidy of this developer and these private homeowners for a problem that is in fact their problem. So I would like to, again, to encourage you not to approve this taxing district. There are other ways to go about this other than getting the city involved in this way. And the cost, this concept of no cost to the town is just not true when it comes to the soft costs and the future costs of maintaining the taxing district and the problems that are inevitably going to arise that we can't even begin to anticipate at this point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got one other individual, I can't read the name, from Tawny Terrace.
Yeah,
Shorter. Jen DiVincenzo, Tawny Terrace. I have concerns coming from a different perspective. A little bit concerned, I think if there was a different name attached to this, it would be a little bit more, I'd have a little bit more faith. But having known and lived in two of the developments, I have a lot of concern about this. And the inspection that's going to be given at the end of the system being put in, is that from an engineer of our choice, or who chooses that engineer that's going to ultimately approve this?
Somebody outside of the builder, that was one of the questions I had. It's not going to be it's not going to be the builder. I'm assuming it's an outside.
Yeah, the engineer, this has been talked about with the town, will be an engineer approved by the town.
Yes, that's what I was under. That's the understanding I was under.
Okay. And are we prepared as a town to do everything that we can to ensure that this isn't the fourth development that's kind of cutting corners here and there? And, given the fact that, I'm living in one of those houses that the construction is a little bit questionable. I'm just concerned with the fact that we're putting in 44 other houses with the same name attached to it, and it's coming with more specialized things attached to it that ultimately affect our development and those outside of that.
We have a building inspector that inspects all the work that's being done. So, I mean, if you're minor things like molding falling off the wall, the inspector's not looking for that
No.
stuff. But major things, our inspector should be more than capable to see a problem before it's passed on to a homeowner, I would think.
This really has to do with the drainage district, not the quality of construction of the homes. I think that's what you're referring to, is the developer.
Well, I think it's everything. I think it's attached to everything. If his name is on it, or if their names are on it, it's a concern. Based on the record and
we can't be prejudiced.
and all of that. So, just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Was that the last one?
And Larry Gordon?
Well, actually, I'll let Larry speak first, but they bring up other options, but other options are going to create bigger options for this town, I'm assuming.
Go ahead, Larry.
I'll let Larry go
Larry
first.
Gordon, 95 Scout Road. I'm doing something tonight I thought I would never do, is get involved with a local issue in this particular area. But in as much the credentials have been given to the other people, I spent 33 and a half years as a director of planning for Saratoga County and acted as a director of the Saratoga County Sewer Agency and the director of the Saratoga County Water Agency. Happened to be involved with doing a lot of seismic surveys in this area back in the 60s. A couple of other things is I am definitely for a special district because it is the other options have more flaws. A homeowners association, as approved by the Attorney General's office, presents a lot of problems because you do not have the control of a legislative body to make decisions, and people living in there might find it very difficult to make financial decisions because their money is involved. So I am very much for the special district. This is not the first subdivision proposed there, it's the second one. Back when I was on the town board for 2 terms, we had the same area with the same type of concerns, though the involvement of more agencies today, as they were not present and involved 15 years ago, such as DEC, New York State Health Department, the Corps of Engineers, they were involved, but only in sort of a lightweight type. I think the other thing I would like to do is to make sure that the developer, in the legal process of turning over the property to any homeowner, make sure that they have a full understanding of what they are getting involved with in case something does go wrong, or the maintenance that might need to take place. And as far as the soft cost, that's a good point, but all costs that relate to this particular special district, as any special district, are back charged to that particular solution. So I think that I only live across on the other side of the Northway, not as close as this, but I think the special district is the way to go. I've been involved with the creation of the Saratoga County Sewer District, the Saratoga County Lake District, which incorporated a vast area, and a couple of other districts for some communities in the southern part of the county. So I think that's all I have to say.
I have a question, Larry. They're bringing up other options. I've heard of bringing in fill to raise these homes up. That groundwater, where's that water going to end up if they do raise them up?
It's going to go to the same drainage basin as this system would go to, except you've got some other things that, in my opinion, introduced. Getting all that fill to it involves using, obviously, a number of roads from wherever it comes, state, county, town, whatever.
So wear and tear on our roads.
Wear and tear, but you can get a bond to bond the developer against the damage caused by that.
But the water is essentially going back to the stream,
It's gonna go to the same place.
to the street,
In
to
fact,
the
it's going to
drains.
go there much faster.
That's what I
Now you're
figured.
taking all
It's
the
coming.
surface water included, so. Also, I like the idea of direct drainage rather than detention, well, not detention basins, but dry wells and things like that, which require a lot of maintenance. So that's...
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So,
Follow-up question, because he said something about the cost, the soft cost being back charged. Is that in fact what's going to happen?
That's the idea of a special district. A special district absorbs all costs.
we can adjust the costs involved in this at any time.
Once we know the costs, we obviously can't predict the costs,
But it was my understanding that the city was just going to absorb the cost of
No.
administering the special district itself.
no. If there's a catastrophic failure on this system, Larry, how would that be taken care of?
Well, I'm not your engineer.
No, that should be
Or if there was a catastrophic failure 5 years from today,
We have the money.
who would take care of that problem?
The town, we have the funds in.
And then
place.
who would reimburse the town?
No, we have the money.
districts.
We have already collected the money from the homeowners, from the district.
We will have funds in place to hopefully cover all those costs and use those funds from the district.
And if there's not enough funds
We
collected
can adjust the tax rate
to that special
to
district,
that special district.
so it's not on anybody else other than the people in that special district?
Correct.
That's what
It's
I'm...
never
that's
going to
what
be
I'm-
borne by the town.
Right, the important words in those sentences are from the
Water goes to
district.
the same place anyway. Why don't you fill the land? The water goes to the same place anyway, and the city has no responsibility whatsoever.
Oh, yes, you do. Now you
It's a
have-
bad design.
Well,
I
a bad
think once you
design.
start filling, you're also going to change the dynamic of the ecosystem in the area.
Environmentally, it's not good. So, Nancy, one question, then we're going to move on.
So in the $41 per lot, it does not include any town cost. That's personal. I believe, Brandon, didn't you say you're moving 3 to 5 feet of groundwater currently there, displacing, that's underground, not flowing to the creek, 3 to 5 feet away from this area so that those houses can be built there?
Who was
Did I
saying?
did I hear you say that?
I didn't hear that, no.
The groundwater is going to drop about 3 feet.
Yeah, the elevation of the groundwater will be impacted and will be lowered by 3 feet. We're not taking that and putting it anywhere else than other where it already goes. It's already going to the stream corridor. We're taking it there and adding it to that stream corridor. So there's a hydrogeologic study that identifies this entire process that can be read. It's been reviewed by the town engineer, it's been provided to New York State DEC and the Army Corps of Engineers. They all approved the engineering associated with this system to have no negative impact.
What are the problems
not
associated, though, with letting it, they say there's problems, what are the other problems associated with letting it drain naturally by elevating the
Well,
land?
there are no other problems, so
So there are no other problems. You can, the developer fills the land, the developer takes care of it, and the city's out of it, and it goes to the same place anyway.
So what are you suggesting, Eric? I mean,
I'm saying that, don't take the responsibility.
there is no responsibility, there's no cost, it's a benefit to the homeowners, it's a benefit to the people
With a special
living
district,
there.
it takes the responsibility from the town and puts it on that special district.
It's all
To not
the
do it that
developer
way,
and the homeowners.
To not do it that way, we are taking responsibility for it because the development's going in no matter what.
The last thing we want is to build these homes up
You
on,
own it, and there's a thing in there, trust me, if you think that it isn't gonna be a problem for the city, then you're underestimating this thing, whereas again, you put the land, the water goes to the same place, there's no improvements necessary to parade and to
Who
monitor.
pays for the maintenance, Eric?
Well, there's a whole.
No, that's just a question for you. Who will pay for the maintenance if they do everything that you just suggested? There's no special district. Who's going to pay to maintain that now?
You have a homeowner
The taxpayers. No,
association.
there is no. The taxpayers will pay it.
Maintain what?
Because the water's still going to go down into the roads.
the last thing you want
It's
is
still going to go
homeowners
into the,
association.
it's still going to go into the streets.
They're not gonna have swales and all the other things that places normally do to handle runoff water?
With a special district, it's on them. When you buy a home in there, you're signing a piece
The
of paper.
town
saying
is
you're responsible
totally
for it.
protected by this, and you know, so we're done with the questions at this point. So if there's no other public comment, I'll close the public hearing. I'll call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Wilton Town Board, January 4th, 2018. We'll begin with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Supervisor Johnson?
Here.
Councilman Councilman Stryker?
Here.
Councilman Bogardus?
Present.
Councilman Lanton?
Excused.
Councilman McCarthy?
Here. Okay, is there anybody, Julie, is anybody signed up for public comment? Okay. Okay. Our first meeting of the year is our organizational meeting. You have all been provided with the organizational resolutions. There's 60 of them. They're very typical of what we've done every other year. We can adopt these as one vote, except if anybody wants a separate vote on any of them, we can do that as well. So I know you've all had the couple of weeks to look at these. Is there any other questions before we look to make a motion to approve the resolutions?
Make a motion to approve the organization resolutions number 1 through 60.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. There's no request for separate votes. Okay, hearing none, then all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. In conjunction with the organizational resolutions, I typically make supervisor appointments as liaisons to the various departments. There is one change I'm going to make this year, and it is certainly not reflective of Councilman Stryker. I'm going to make a change to the deputy supervisor. Steve has served very well, and I appreciate his service over the years, but I thought, to be fair to our other councilmen, give them an opportunity to serve as deputy. I'm going to appoint John Lant to serve this year as deputy supervisor. And thank you, Steve, for your service.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay. Also with Councilman Lant, he will still serve as the Justice Department, the court system, the Safety Review Committee, and he's also on the Personnel Committee.
Probably give him some more, he's not here.
I know. Probably one of the hardest ones is Councilman McCracken with the Highway Department. And John, you do a great job, and you work well with Kirk, so I want to continue on that relationship. And also with Steve, with Park and Recreation, he has a great relationship with Mark and the Park and the Park and Rec Commission, so Steve, I want to have you continue in that capacity as well. Our new Councilman Bogardus, you will have the Are You OK program, which I know you have been. Prior to being on the town board, you were involved in that before. You work with the liaison to the seniors, the Americans with Disabilities policy, and the town historian. And Ryan, you have the Wilton Water and Sewer Authority responsibility, as well as the Wilton Wildlife Preserve and Park. Then we have the Personnel Committee, which John Lant was on, Nancy Riley, and Jeff Reel is also on the Personnel Committee. And I think that's all. So, look forward to a good year with working with all of you, and I know all the departments will be working with you as well. Okay, we have the minutes pending from our December meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll put forth a motion to approve the pending minutes.
Second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, we had the public hearing on the Canyon Run Drainage District earlier. Are there any particular questions, concerns that either Mr. Danabel can...
Well, I had one last final thing. I was speaking with Ryan for a period of time today and over the past. It sounds like not putting in a drainage district and having it just be built up on a lot of dirt, extra dirt, would be more complicated to outside the area too, like maybe extra water in some of the other developments, possibly. I don't know. I just thought, I have great faith in Ryan, listening to Mr. Gordon. I feel strongly that the Canyon Run Drainage District would be the best option.
I think, we put more effort into making sure that this drainage district is done properly than probably any other project.
I've spent months on it, research.
It's similar to identical to what's over in, on Waverly and into Olson Farm, which seems to be working appropriately. There's been no maintenance problems. And I think for the benefit of the residents that are going to buy in there, the environment with groundwater, the alternative doesn't make any sense to me, other than improving the drainage district. There's no cost to the town. The maintenance funds are there to improve it. It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
And also, speaking with Ryan, he mentioned that he didn't feel like it was going to be too much of a burden on our town employees, like the highway department or Mark, to do inspections and basic maintenance of it.
I spoke with Ryan and I asked him, I believe, 2 questions. Is it better for the builder or better for the town? And you answered it, it's better for the town.
I spent a lot of time going over this and educating myself, and being new to this whole process, the only question I had is I believe the proposal is $100 per house put into a fund that will grow year by year to cover maintenance that might be incurred by the town in the future. So initially, I believe it comes to $4,400 is the initial kitty. I use kitty as a loose term. I would like to see that $4,400 increased a little bit, just in case of some failure. We don't have to backpedal and try to recoup some costs and then drop a heavier tax on the homeowner. I would like to see an increase in that $4,400 by the builder to start at a good rate that we can start building on, just the event if something does happen, the homeowner doesn't incur a little extra hard tax to make up the money. If we have the money in the kitty already, they won't have to incur a heavier tax. That's the only thing I would like to see, the only questions I had. I'm not sure if that's a possibility or not.
You looked into that, didn't you? Did you talk to Mr. Dan?
I talked to the one of the owners, and it is a possibility, and I spoke to Joe about it, and I believe he spoke to the applicant. So it is a feasible thing to increase the per parcel fee.
Which they're essentially going to pay when they buy the house. He's not going to absorb that cost, he's just going to charge it to the house that's being built, so.
He's asking for an additional.
I mean, right now, it's $100 per house, which comes up to $4,400 for the initial. Then I believe it's $41 each year after that, which really does not build up. In the event of some catastrophic, I believe one of the catastrophic repair you guys had quoted was like a $12,000 manhole and some piping. I would like to kind of start up and near that area where 5 years down the line where we're only got maybe $5,000 or $6,000, maybe $6,000 into that, and then now the town has to back tax the homeowner for the extra $6,000. I would like to be closer to what we consider a catastrophic repair, and this way we won't, the taxpayer in that district wouldn't have to incur a large tax all at once. That's just my feeling.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I have spoken with the owner of the property, and he's willing to work with the town in that. And on his behalf, one of the things I'd like to mention is that the development of this property and the turning over this road. At the time when this road will be turned over to the town, there will be no houses constructed, and roads have to be turned over before the first CO. The developer of these lots is then responsible for the tax on every one of these lots for this individual district until such time that a house is built. In its initial development, I'm sure the builder would love to build 44 houses the first year and sell out the development, but we all know that won't be the case. We're probably looking at 6 to 8 houses per year. So, within the first year or two, we're talking, 6 houses the first year. The flows and the impacts within this system are going to be extremely negligible. We're talking, 1/8 of the total build-out going into these pipes and into the drainage area itself. So, with that, the developer has, in my opinion, made an additional offer to increase that number from $100 a unit up to $200 a unit, which would bring the initial fee to about $800.
I would be satisfied with
It
it.
seems fair.
And that actually makes sense now that you said it that way. He's not going to build 44 houses in a year, you're right. So
He'd love to.
So Mark,
I think they'd rather have them built right.
Well, we're not suggesting that if the town board wants to proceed in a favorable direction, then we need that direction, and then the applicant's council and representative team will prepare a proposed approval order for your consideration at your February meeting, which happens to be on February 1st. There are specific, under New York State town law, there are specific statutory findings that the town board is required to make, and we would put those before you for your February meeting.
So if we were to approve the drainage district would be conditioned upon these further findings?
I wouldn't suggest you do it that way. I think that it would be, what would be before you for your February 1st meeting, assuming I'm sensing that this is the direction you want to go, would be an approval, resolution, and order, which would self-contain, it would be a resolution, it would contain those findings, and you would be taking that action at your February 1st meeting if you wish to, and not taking any action this evening.
Okay, and that would include the additional funding that we're talking about?
Yeah, that should be made part of the resolution. I don't think we need to see a new map plan or report changing the number from 100 per lot to 200 per lot, but I think we do need to see that in the order and resolution. And the applicant's representatives, including their legal counsel, who's in the back of the room, is well aware of this. We've discussed it.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, so we won't be taking any action tonight. We'll be dealing with it at our February meeting. Right?
Right.
That's my feelings.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No action taken.
Okay, next item has to do with some veterans exemptions. So we're looking to set a public hearing for two things. One is the Cold War exemption had a 10-year limitation to it. New York State passed a real property tax law that eliminated the 10-year limitation on the exemption, and it extended it to the property owner as long as they were they remain the owner of the property. So that's one amendment. It would be amendment to our local law number 5 2008. So we need a public hearing to do that. And the other would be to amend previous local laws regarding real property tax law 458 A and B, which would allow school districts as well as town and county to grant alternative veterans exemptions, which now is only within the towns. But this would allow the school district to grant that exemption as well. So there would be two local laws, and we would set the public hearing for, it would be local law 1 of 2018, and then local law 2018, we'd set it, public hearing for 7 o'clock and probably 7:05 for February 1st.
And this is for...
Both those documents you have before you is what the amendments would be. Both deal with veterans exemptions.
Right, and that's for Vietnam vets and Korean vets? Is that what?
Veterans.
Well, it's
Yeah, Cold War, I mean, I wasn't sure if you...
yeah. There's different in this one form there. They're presently on the book. One is only because we have it already, but this would allow school districts to approve it as well.
Do we need a motion to set that, or are you all set?
Do we need a motion to set the public hearings?
Yeah.
We make a motion to set the public hearing for February 1st for the alternative and Cold War veterans exemption. And that include that other...
Both that public hearing.
Got them both. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? So moved. We put out a bid for the fertilization at Gavin Park. We received one bid. Sue, you want to
Sure.
go over the bid?
We had requested a conventional and organic fertilization, grub control, and pre-emergent crabgrass control for a 3-year contract, just to go between the two. So from Turf Grass Technologies was our only bidder, and as a conventional application was $22,200 per year, with a 3-year total of $6,600, or $66,600. And then for organic, it was $77,900 per year, for a 3-year total of $233,700.
Okay.
Make a motion, we go with conventional.
Mark, your experience, obviously... Conventional.
Wow.
How are those rates okay with you?
Yes, fair enough.
Do you know the bidder? Do you know the bidder of this?
I do. He has a past history with Gavin Park, and he did a great job. He also worked at a larger scale of land, and he was doing bigger athletic fields, working for colleges and so forth, so I got a lot of confidence he's going to do a great job.
Great.
The motion to approve the low bid on the, for 3-year contract for $66,000?
666, yes.
I'll put
66.
for the motion for that.
I'll second
Accept that
it.
bid.
Okay, or second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? So moved. Okay, number 9. We've been negotiating for a few months regarding the purchase of a piece of property next to the senior center owned by the Kilburns. We have come to an agreement, a negotiated agreement as to the purchase price. What we're looking for tonight is to approve me to sign the contract, Mark, and if I'm wrong on this, to sign the contract, and Jeff to approve the funds to pay for it.
Actually, sign the contract and take all actions necessary to close on the purchase of property. And you have a draft resolution prepared for you.
Oh, okay. Does everybody have this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen it before.
Sorry, it just came to us.
So Mark has prepared the resolution.
Will we get it? Starting here, I'm assuming? Or the whole thing? Just the bottom?
Just resolved.
Okay. I'll make a motion that the town supervisor is hereby authorized and directed to enter in a contract for the purchase of the property in the amount of $160,000. The town supervisor is hereby authorized to take all actions necessary to effectuate the purchase of the property, including the execution in all documents in a form approved by town council, and the payment of all costs associated with closing the purchase, including title and recording fees. Town supervisor, town clerk, and town council are authorized and directed to take such additional actions and execute such documents as they deem necessary to effectuate an intent of this resolution. Duly adopted this 4th day of January 2018, whereupon the resolution was put to vote, recorded as follows. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
We have a motion, right? You make the motion.
I'll second it.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed?
So that's 4?
So moved. Okay, the Association of Towns is being held in February.
This doesn't vote at all.
We need a voting delegate and an alternate. Typically, I have been the voting delegate, and Jeff Reel has been the alternate for that meeting in New York. Someone would like to move, unless somebody else wants to do it.
No, I'll put forth a motion to assign Supervisor Johnson and as a delegate for voting, and alternate Jeff Reel.
Second it.
Motion a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moved. Okay, we got several reappointments to various boards. First is David McDougal for the Wilton Water and Sewer Authority. His period would go from 1/1/18 to 12/31/2022, his term.
I'll put forth a motion to reappoint David McDougal from 1/1/2018 to 12/31/2022.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. With reappointments to the Wilton Planning Board, we have Brett Hebner from 1/1/2018 to 2024, and then Jeff Hurd as first alternate, which is an annual reappointment from January 18 to December 31st, 18.
Make a motion to reappoint Brett Hebner and Jeff Hurt for both positions.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. To the Zoning Board of Appeals, we have Scott Kingsley for a 7-year term, January of 18 to 12/31/24, and then alternate 1, Charles Frazier, which is a 1-year appointment, and Joseph Sabanos also, he's alternate number 2 for a 1-year appointment.
I'll put forth a motion to reappoint Scott Kingsley, Charles Frazier, and Joseph Sabanos for ZBA.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so moved. To the Ethics Advisory Board reappointments, we have Charles Hodson for January 1st, 18 to 12/31/19. Michael Coleman for the same period. Charles Garrison, also for the same period, and Lenny Bernavia for the same period of time.
I'll put forth a motion for the reappointments of Charles Hodgson, Michael Coleman, Charles Garrison, and Lenny Fornabia for the Ethics Advisory Board.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Next item, committee reports. Any committee reports?
I have a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our residents for doing such a great job. We had our program, Toys for Tots, Marines Toys for Tots program at Gavin Park, and they filled 4 large boxes of toys, which is a great thing from our community, so thank you.
And we delivered them.
Yes. And second, in 2016, 2017, we worked on comprehensive plan update, and one of the things that was one of our short-term goals was a pocket park off of a small pocket park in the northern part of town. One of the areas I was thinking was off of Northern Pines Road, near the Veterans Homes housing over there. And so I'm just looking to put forth a feasibility study that we can do to get the ball rolling on that. So.
We started a study on that parcel.
Yeah, we started, so we're working that with Mark and Steve, and probably need to put together some type of master plan as to what we want to do with that particular piece. But
put it out to the town and see what they want.
So
I think that would be a good thing for the northern part of town. One of the things, a small, way kind of like Gavin Park started, was a very small playground, a field, some bathrooms, some picnic tables, and see where it goes. I think we could do a lot of interconnectivity of some of the housing developments that are in that area, connecting to the park over there. What's the water behind?
Snook Hill?
The Snook Hill. We even talked about, having a small portable bridge. There's all kinds of things that can be done. So, where people can ride their bicycles or walk to this park. And I thought it'd be a good thing to start looking at. So I'd like to see the town move forward on that.
Your goal for 2018.
Yeah, it is. It's a good goal.
Any other committee reports? I just want to mention, on the 27th this month is the first bicentennial event. It's called the Bicentennial Kickoff Gala at McGregor Country Club on the 27th. Saturday night, 6 to 10. There are limited tickets. It's been a great response. There are limited tickets left for that event. So if anybody's interested in going, you can come up and see Nancy Riley up here at Town Hall, or you can buy them online at wiltonbicentennial.com.
In Kurt's budget, do we need anything for tonight for that truck that's in his budget?
No, I'm just gonna go, I'm doing a mini bid on it.
All right.
With the same dealer.
But
the money's already in the budget.
the truck that's coming out of Do we need anything on the truck that's coming out of service or going out to auction?
When it comes time to dispose of that, yes, the town board needs to act on that.
All right, Jeff, Controller's report?
Okay, the first one are the 2018 budget amendments. The first one has to do with the purchase of land, which was just authorized. I added an additional $5,000 in there for title costs, attorney costs. Hopefully that's enough money in there for the soft costs. The second item, this was put into the 2017 budget, and this is a grant that we're receiving from the county. It's really a pass-through to help pay for the closing costs for the Tooker land through Sarah plan. So I want to make sure I get it back to the 2018 budget.
That's just going to be a pass-through. Once they Tooker closes with Saratoga, was it land Saratoga's plan?
So do you need a motion for a transfer? Or just a motion?
Just for the amendments.
I'll make a motion, we approve the budget amendments presented by Jeff Reel.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, next item, personnel items. Mark Mikens, our code enforcement officer, is requesting approval for John Hurley, Marcus Hart, Scott Harrington, and himself to attend the Adirondack Code Enforcement Officials Education Conference from March 4th to the 8th up in Lake Placid. Overnight travel requires town board approval.
This is typically, they go on every year, they get their accreditation there.
I'll put forth the motion to approve the conference and overnight stay.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Okay, the last one, Councilman Bogardus is requesting to attend the New York State Association of Towns meeting held in New York City, February 18th through 21st. Again, it's overnight travel and it requires town board approval.
Make a motion, we send Dwayne Bogardus to the New York State Association of Towns.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I think, Dwayne, you're also attending the newly elected officials
Next Wednesday through
in
Friday.
Albany next week.
It's good.
It's going to be learning.
Okay. Is there any other business anybody wants to bring up?
Hang on, Kurt.
Just to make an announcement, somehow we gotta get the residents' input on garbage cans in the road. I'm getting all kinds of calls. We can't cross over the yellow line.
I told you how to do it. Wing 'em.
I mean, somehow we gotta do something. They're projectiles when you hit them.
I know
If they're empty, they take right off. If they're full, the people's gotta pick up. We don't wanna do it, but we can't stop at every driveway, move garbage cans either.
No.
And it's getting bad, real bad. Car Road, on Wednesdays, take a trip down to every house on the white line. It's not prohibited.
Jeff, can we put like a thing here on the sign talking about garbage cans?
The
Or they
garbage
need to
truck has
put on the sign,
an 8-foot
digital
arm
sign?
It's on the website now, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying on the digital sign.
The garbage truck has an 8-foot arm on it.
Well, I know they can pick 'em up.
6 foot off of that white line should be no problem, or make a little spot next to the mailbox with their snow blower, set it right next to the mailbox. We're not in the business of hitting mailboxes and whatever, but yet it does.
I found mail down the street, so.
It does happen, but it's getting very, very dangerous.
I've seen Christmas trees laying in the road now, too.
I actually followed your truck down Card Road today, and actually
And I have
garbage
one
cans
other
were in the
question.
road as opposed to on the side of the road. They were actually left in the road past the white line, and the truck had to zigzag and lift the wing and stuff, so it's time consuming to get around them.
Really, really, really bad.
Your concerns for salt have been
Yes.
taken, all right.
You know, the garbage collector companies ask you to put them in the road.
Maybe we should talk to the garbage company.
Talk to the garbage
No, their arm can go way into
Send
the...
the garbage collectors information, trying to get them to send residents in their billing process to educate them where to put the garbage can. The biggest issue is, I believe when they're backing out of the garage in the morning, either the husband or the wife don't want to hit them, so we'll put them on the road, we won't hit them, and then we hit them. And that's not what we want to do. It really isn't. I mean,
That's just common sense by homeowners. I mean,
I don't have my garbage pits, I do not put them out on the road, they are in my driveway, but I come home and the garbage truck picks it up, and leave that my pit in the road.
That's why I said wing them.
Steve.
They have to replace cans, so put them back into the...
Mine are always up on my driveway, always, and or in my yard.
Did you have something, Larry?
Oh, I was wondering, the highway department still has a contest getting the mailbox closer to the front door and dump the food at the end of the year.
all right. Are we done here? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
Dwayne, all in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Hope I signed in the right spot.